My dear friends, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that some of the most joyful elders aren't the ones with the biggest houses or the largest pensions? Instead, they're the ones who live quietly, simply, with very little, and yet somehow radiate peace, joy, and contentment. When you walk into their homes, you may not see fine furniture or expensive decorations, but you feel something far more valuable: warmth. The kind of warmth that makes you want to stay, sit, and share stories. How do they live so richly with so little? The answer isn't in money. It's in wisdom, small habits that transform ordinary days into meaningful ones. Today, let's uncover these 6 timeless treasures together. 1. The gift of contentment. Contentment is not about giving up dreams. It's about no longer measuring your life against someone else's. I once knew a man named Mr. Carter. His pension was small, his house plain, but his smile was as bright as morning. Every day he sat in his garden with a cup of tea, whispering thanks for the roses that bloomed faithfully each year. Another elder, Mrs. Lopez, kept a little notebook by her bedside. Each night she wrote down 3 things she was grateful for: a kind word, a good walk, or simply the sound of rain on the roof. She once said, "When I read back through my lists, I realized how full my life already is." And then there was George, a retired bus driver. His greatest joy was simply sitting on his porch watching children play in the street. "I may not have a car anymore," he said, "but I have the best view in town, the sound of kids laughing." Reflection. Isn't that the secret? When we shift our eyes from what we don't have to what we do, life feels lighter. Comparison drains us, but gratitude fills us. Contentment doesn't shrink your world, it frees your heart to enjoy what's already here. 2. The beauty of simplicity. Our culture tells us happiness lies in more. More gadgets, more upgrades, more of everything. Yet the happiest seniors often live with less. I visited a couple once who lived in a single-room cabin. Their chairs were old, their curtains faded, but the space pulsed with joy. The smell of soup on the stove, wildflowers in a vase, and shelves of well-worn books gave the home more beauty than luxury ever could. Another elder, Mr. Daniels, walked everywhere because he had no car. He saw this not as a burden, but as a gift. He greeted shopkeepers, watched children playing, and noticed the small miracles of the seasons. "Why rush," he used to say, "when life is showing you something worth seeing every day?" And I'll never forget Esther, who lived with almost nothing, but took joy in making handmade cards from scraps of paper. She mailed them to friends and family, and those little cards meant more than store-bought gifts ever could. Reflection. Simplicity strips away noise so we can hear the music of daily life. It reminds us that a loaf of bread, a bird song, or a child's laughter can bring more joy than the finest things money can buy. Simplicity doesn't take away happiness, it reveals it. 3. The treasure of relationships. The wealthiest elders I've known are not those with overflowing bank accounts, but those with overflowing tables. Take Mrs. Hernandez. A widow with little income, she still hosted Sunday dinners. Her stew pot was small, yet somehow there was always enough for her family, neighbors, and friends. She laughed as she told me, "My table may be small, but love makes it endless." Then there were the Thompsons, an elderly couple who made it their mission to call one old friend every day. "It keeps our hearts young," they said. And Grace, a grandmother, invited neighborhood children for story nights. She didn't give gifts wrapped in paper. She gave them stories they'd carry forever. Another man, Samuel, lived alone but every morning walked to the same park bench. Over time, that bench became a meeting place for others, neighbors, young parents, even strangers passing by. He created a circle of friendship with nothing more than his presence and his smile. Reflection. Relationships turn loneliness into belonging. They remind us that joy multiplies when shared. Money may buy things, but only love can buy laughter around the table, companionship in hard times, and the comfort of being remembered. The power of purpose. Purpose is the fuel that keeps the spirit alive. I knew a retired teacher, Miss Evelyn, who spent mornings reading to children at the library. Her eyes lit up each time the little ones laughed at her stories. Another elder, Mr. Harris, grew vegetables and delivered them to neighbors who couldn't get out much. He said his garden gave him more joy than any paycheck ever had. Grandmother Lila made her kitchen a classroom. She passed down family recipes to her grandchildren, teaching not just cooking but heritage. "These recipes," she said, "are my inheritance to them." And then there was Harold, a retired carpenter. Even in his 80s, he repaired broken chairs and tables for free in his neighborhood. "It keeps my hands busy and my heart full," he said. Reflection. Purpose doesn't need grand achievements. It could be tending plants, writing letters, or listening to a friend. What matters is waking up each day knowing your life still matters. Purpose gives weight to your days and joy to your heart. 5. The wealth of health. Ask elders what they value most, and many will say, health. Mrs. Patel walked the same 3 blocks every morning. It wasn't about distance, it was about showing up for herself. Another elder, George, grew vegetables in a small patch of land. His hands got stronger, his meals healthier, and his conversations with neighbors richer because of it. Helen, who struggled with arthritis, practiced chair exercises and deep breathing every evening. "It keeps my body light and my mind calm," she said. I also knew Arthur, who kept his health by dancing. Every Friday, he joined a local community hall where seniors gathered to dance. He didn't move as fast as the younger ones, but he always said, "As long as I can still sway to the music, I am alive." Reflection. True health doesn't require expensive gyms or fancy diets. It's found in water, movement, rest, and laughter. Money may buy medicine, but it cannot buy vitality. A healthy body is the true inheritance you give yourself, and it makes even the simplest life feel abundant. 6. The practice of gratitude. And here, my dear friends, is the golden thread: gratitude. Mr. Lewis kept a jar on his table. Every day he dropped in a slip of paper with one thing he was thankful for. At year's end, he read them all, smiling at the tapestry of blessings that had carried him through. Margaret, though slowed by arthritis, always answered, "I'm grateful these legs still carry me," whenever asked how she was. Her gratitude didn't ignore her pain, it gave her power over it. And there was Ruth, who lost her husband but still said every morning, "Thank you for the years I had with him, and thank you for this new day." Her gratitude turned loss into love, sorrow into strength. Reflection. Gratitude transforms scarcity into abundance. It turns every small gift into a treasure. When we whisper thank you more than we complain, the world suddenly feels brighter, even if nothing around us has changed. Gratitude doesn't add years to life, it adds life to years. Final reflection. So what do these wise elders teach us? That happiness cannot be bought, it must be built. Contentment, simplicity, relationships, purpose, health, gratitude. These 6 habits cost nothing, but they bring everything. The next time you worry about what you lack, pause and ask yourself, do I have love? Do I have food, laughter, or even just a quiet moment of peace? Then you, my dear friend, are already rich. Think about it. Money can vanish, possessions can break, but kindness, wisdom, and memories stay with you forever. The elders who live richly on little remind us that true wealth isn't in a wallet, it's in the heart. So as you go forward, may you find comfort in the simple, may you savor the small, and may your heart overflow with gratitude. And if this message touched you today, kindly like this video so other seniors can discover these timeless secrets and live richly in their own way.